Yeah, I mean, again, we're back. We're back to this round of at least being again on the news while Gaza suffers continuously from really devastating and very challenging circumstances. So in these past few days, I mean, there is the escalation, the violence, and the Israeli attacks and all that. I think this has been affecting the civilian population dramatically, and as you may have reported earlier, that there's at least 15 children were killed. And I think this is extremely heartbreaking, and I think it's very unfair. Looking at the situation in terms of daily living, Gaza already suffers from very basic daily life issues, which becomes a very daily struggle and a daily challenge. Having power shortages, now even reaching to more severe shortages. Before even they were not like fully. I don't recall having in Gaza a full day of electricity. It was maybe 6 hours electricity. Now it's 2 hours of electricity. So really Gazans live by the day in terms of supplies, food supplies, fuel, all the basic commodities, let alone having any sense of understanding where are we going in terms of economic viability or any potential for the population on Gaza. We're talking about unemployment that is more than like half of the population is unemployed, half of the population is under poverty. And these are really very disturbing conditions that Gaza continue to live in before these few days of escalation.
Yeah. So, you know, when the hospital talks about 2 days left of energy supply, how do they cope with that? What is the possible solution? You know, is this blockade on fuel and supplies just going to continue to worsen?
Yeah, you know, the problem is that Gaza really lives by the day, as I was mentioning. And, you know, any small change in this supply, which is hardly or barely sufficient to make the basic need met, which is not really meeting the basic need. Because as I mentioned, there's already shortages from before the closure. And once Israel closes, there is already impact in the market in everything. So if people think that Israel has withdrew from Gaza and that there is no presence inside Gaza, this is really a myth, because really it's controlling all imports and all commercial activities and access of people to travel. And this is extremely important to know, because patients have been denied access. This is very worrying. Patients with critical conditions have been denied access. So again, now the situation might be going back to normal, as some declaration of ceasefire last night, midnight, was declared. We are relieved. However, we need to keep the attention on the critical issues when it comes to people living with dignity, having access to jobs, having access to travel, and really have some viable life in Gaza.
I understand your family had to evacuate your house last night. Take us through what that was like.
Yeah, actually, that was really horrible, because we were about to, we were going to bed that minute, just few minutes, and we were relaxed that finally the ceasefire is going to be in effect at 11:30 p.m. just before midnight. And at 10:30, we heard kids screaming in the street, and I got a call from a neighbor, panicking, like, we need to leave. They are telling us that we should evacuate. And so we all ran, like, in just less than 2 minutes out in the street. All of us, all the neighbors, all the kids, everyone was just in the street rushing to leave the area. Apparently, after that, we realized that the guard of a building next to us was actually contacted by Israelis saying this building will be hit. And seconds later, he got another call saying this is a false. We have been mistaken. So this caused a great sense of anxiety in panic. I mean, it's indescribable. I don't think I've ever experienced something like that. We literally like just ran away, carrying nothing with us. There was no time to even take belongings or anything, just to put my kids in the car where they were asleep, and just running to basically a place where relatives of our neighbor, and we sat there for an hour or so until everything was sorted, and finally were relieved to get back home. Such a relief.
It would have been, but you know, I wonder how do you explain this to your children?
You know, this is very, very challenging, because even since last May, we started to have conversation with my 7-year-old. Now she's she's 8 years old. And I think it's so difficult for her, because she's really afraid now. Every night she just sleeps while she puts her fingers inside her ears and just pressing on them. And she asks me, like, don't they understand that this is painful? Don't they understand that this is really going to damage us, to hurt us? Are we going to have our home demolished? And, you know, trying to be reasonable as much as possible. Also, that I do tell her that it is a tough situation, that we are being brave, we are doing the best we can, and all this is wrong. However, I also explain a little bit of the history and the injustice that Palestinians have been enduring for decades and decades for now. It's really tricky, and I think trying to keep mental health, within some reasonable, status, it's very challenging, and I find it challenging as a mother as well, as I am trying to show her that things will be okay eventually, while they are not.
Yeah, a difficult job indeed. Najla, we're pleased that you are safe, and we appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much.